Hold on a second. Says we are. Let me double check over here. Dashboard. Oh, yep, it's showing that we are live. What's going on?
Live, baby.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Doing great, man. Just nothing's gonna stop us from doing what we need to do, making moves, and that's all I'm doing right now. I see you out and about. You just came from the gym, right?
No, I'm heading to the gym. Our gym technically is closed, but I'm going there to get some gear to take to my home gym. I was at the office downtown, meetings all day, a couple virtual meetings, meeting with Doug. But yeah, everything's normal for me except for the fact that I'm pulling into my gym here in a minute, and I can't. I guess technically I could probably work out, but then gym's not supposed to have anybody working out in it, so we'll find out how that goes.
Oh, well, that's actually your gym, though, right?
Yeah, I'm one of the owners. So, I mean, I'm sure I could probably get away with it, but I have a gym at home. So I'll just stop by, grab some dumbbells, make my home gym a little more robust, and go home and work out for a few hours and live life.
You getting stir crazy yet?
I haven't changed. I mean, only thing I changed a little was this morning, for example, like my coffee shop I always go to on Wednesday mornings and spend 2 hours there. I couldn't sit down. I had to go and get my coffee and go to the office and sit down. But I did find that the breakfast burrito I always get there that I eat with a fork is better served eaten with your hand. So out of all bad comes good. I found out that my favorite breakfast burrito at Coffee Emporium is better eaten with the salsa dumped on it versus dipped with a fork.
Yeah, it's the difference between shaken versus stirred. You don't know until you do it, right?
And I'd tell you what, I would have never known had I been forced by the coronavirus, Wuhan virus, or as Trump called it, Chinese virus yesterday, to eat my burrito in my office.
Well, I didn't even get to tell people who you are, first of all. For you guys that don't know, this is one of my good friends, Matt Platt. I strongly consider him, and I know a lot of people do, as one of the best restaurant marketers. I'll say you're the best in the world. I don't have an issue saying that. You always get taken back by that, but you put in so much work, man. That shit cannot be denied. So, first of all, thank you for being a good friend to me. Thank you for being a mentor to me, and thank you for helping so many people, whether it's restaurant owners or other marketers, to help them sustain their business.
No, I appreciate your kind words. Appreciate your friendship. And by the way, I am parked. I'm not driving, so if you see cars going by, I think you'll think I'm driving and looking this way. But no, yeah, I'm in Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area, and if one business has been affected by it, I mean, 90% of my clients right now across the entire United States and a couple overseas in the UK, Canada, and Australia are delivery and carry out only. So it's been an interesting last 3 days trying to help them get texts and messages and Facebook ads and emails sent out and Facebook posts made and Instagram. So it's been, I don't want to say it's been cool. It's been encouraging, I guess, the fact that we're able to, harness our ability to do what we've been doing for them. I mean, I've been working with this one client for 3 years. And now it's like, hey, we built this database of 30,000 people. We've been hitting it. Now's the time to hit it harder and really drive it home because you're not dining anymore. You're carry out, curbside pickup and delivery. So let's harness this. And it's a fact. It's like I told me today, it's our Super Bowl. This is my marketing Super Bowl. The fact that I need to help these guys. I need to make an impact on their business because they're all, the one client did $400 yesterday. He normally does 1,600. Okay, well, how do we get that to 600, 700? How do we get it as close to normal as possible over the next 2 to 4 weeks before this opens back up to normal?
Yeah, yeah. So, as the guru, which you're not calling yourself that, but I'm gonna call you that, the guru of restaurant marketing. What are some of the tips that you're giving these folks in order to help them get their revenue up just a little bit more each and every day until this blows over?
Well, I'll say this before we talk about that. I'll say this: I've been through two things similar to this. In 2001, I was my second year in radio advertising sales. I was my second year. My dad and myself and my brother owning a boat and RV dealership, and we had an RV show on what was it? September 7th, 8th, and 9th. We moved into a brand new house September 10th. I don't got to tell you what happened September 11th.
Oh, yeah.
And the world stopped. Advertising stopped. We were closed for a week. For a month after that, businesses didn't even comprehend what to do. I mean, people didn't know what was going on. It took 4 to 5 months for the RV business to come back. Guess what? We survived. We persevered. We came out stronger. Everything rebounds. The other one was 2008. We were actually selling, or not 2008. 2008. It But that was 2001. 2008, we were selling our boat dealership, boat and RV. We had the real estate sold for $3+ million. We had our inventory locked down. We were winding it down. I went back into advertising. I started my agency. And June of '08, it was like, man, things got ugly. What happened? We lost like 200 grand this month. But we literally lost 200 grand. Okay, we'll rebound. We were doing about 15 million a year in sales. We thought, okay, this will be fine. We were planning on closing September, October. And then July comes, and my dad was already down to a couple days a week. I was in marketing. We were kind of removed from it. We had a specialist that came in and was called a wind down specialist to help us wind down the business so we could sell everything and move on. The real estate deal got pushed off another 30 days. July comes and goes, and we're in July, like the end of July, and nobody knew the economy was crashing. And we should have known. Looking back, it's like, how stupid were we not to realize it, looking at the signs. But we went from 1.4 million in July of '07 to 48 grand in July of '08. And I lost, I think it was like, I don't know, like me and my dad each put somewhere between $250,000 to $400,000 from our accounts back into the business.
Wow.
Trying to save, oh shit, what's happening? And then in August, the economy collapses. And I mean, it was bad to be any business. And I mean, restaurants did fine then, but it was bad to be a car dealership. You imagine being an RV dealership in that time. So long story short, I went through a lot of stressful time back then. That was a bad 6 months for me. So it helps me going through it. The number one thing I'm advising my clients, this is going to end. Do not pull the reins in. Yes, pull the reins in on as much overhead as you can. Like I had a client yesterday that laid off 80 employees. He had no choice.
Jeez.
He doesn't need servers. He can't serve. And he kept he kept the people, like, granted, they're going to get unemployment. There's speculation that in the next 7 to 10 days, everybody's going to start getting checks for $1,000 to $2,000 per adult household. Things like that are going to help. There's going to be emergency relief with the SBA that's available. But the one thing you don't want to do is cut your advertising. I mean, one of my clients, a guy named Chai, who was on a webinar, if you go to my Facebook page, Matt Plapp, look for the big orange fist. I did a webinar yesterday. And one of the things Chai said in the webinar was, man, he's been through both of these as well. He's had his restaurant 16 years. I went through 2008. Don't stop advertising, because people are still buying food out there. You've got to stay present, but you've got to stay top of mind and present, so that when they come back, when this thing in 4 to 5 weeks, they can come back in your dining room, they haven't forgotten about you.
Yeah.
And so that's a big thing. My number one piece of advice, though, that I'm giving everybody with regards to running their business, get more active. Screen time on phones, on laptops, on iPads is at an all-time high right now. And it's going to get even higher the next 3 to 4 weeks, because this, they're saying this is going to peak around April 1st, April 7th, and start going down back to normal April 7th to May 1st. You're going to have a lot of screen time. Are you going to take advantage of it? Like I told a guy the other day, he made one Facebook post yesterday. I said, that one Facebook post reached 200 people. Imagine if you made 10 Facebook posts yesterday and you got, half of those 200 back for a couple of those, and you got other half. Facebook's algorithm does crazy things. It's not showing the same 200 people every time. It's constantly a revolving door. So get more active, be active, ask people to do business, give them opportunities to do business, give them promotions, give them something to talk about, give them something to share. The minute you stop doing that, your competitors are doing it. And in 2 months, you're out of sight, out of mind. And they're like, oh, I forgot about that place because I hadn't eaten there in a month.
Damn. So, like you said, with getting active, the posts is one thing, but let's talk about the power of video and why that's a good option right now, especially with everything going on.
I mean, tell your story. The biggest problem people have is nobody knows them.
Yeah.
And if you're a restaurant owner, consumers assume that XYZ restaurant is owned out of some tycoon out of New York who's a billionaire. When they learn that it's owned by Chai, who lives down the street, whose kids play Little League ball with your kids, who goes to the same church that you go to, when you can tell that story and put a face to something, it helps. Maybe you're doing a video like Chai had a video, I use it as an example because he was on my webinar yesterday, but he had a video he came out with this morning that walks through the process of how they're doing curbside pickup. They've never done it. It's not a real fascinating video, but at the same time, it's hammering home a point. Hey, this is her. This is her name. She works here. Hey, what's up? Walking out to the curb, handing pizzas to a customer. Oh, they're doing that. They're still open. Because I keep seeing articles all the time. It drives me crazy. All restaurants in this state closed. No, they're not closed. they've suspended dining in traffic. They still have delivery and pickup. So I mean, the headlines are so misleading.
Mm.
You need to make sure people know when they see you carrying pizzas to the curb and putting them in a car, they're going to put two and two together. They're also going to go, man, that young lady needs to get paid. That guy lives here locally. Let's help him out. That story is much easier told with video than it is anything else.
And you've become one of the kings of video, right? Like, I don't know if anybody does any more video than you do that I know personally. So how has video made a difference in your business?
Oh, huge. I mean, it's unbelievable. I get anywhere from, I don't know, 1 million+ views a quarter now that I wouldn't have had 3 years ago. It's funny you say I'm the king of video. That webinar I shot last night was 50 minutes. I spent an hour today chopping up one of the speakers. There was 4 speakers, including plus myself. I was able to get 6 30-second to 1.5-minute sound bites out of that. I already posted one of them today. We got the rest scheduled the next week. I'm going to end up with 50 30-second to 1-minute videos out of that 50-minute thing. And we're going to post those over the next 7 days, 5, 6, 7 a day, linking back to the full webinar. I mean, it's a great way to captivate it and use it.
Question for you is, so because I struggle with this, I have a hard time getting someone to go through my videos and pull the stuff that I want. So do you go through your own videos and chop them up and then pass them to the team, or kind of give them timestamps?
Yeah, I give timestamps. It depends on the project. This project I'm doing myself because it's a little more important to me than other stuff. But yeah, typically when we chop up videos, I'll watch a video. Like I always jokingly tell people, I follow 2 people, Billie Jean and Matt Platt. And they're like, what do you mean you follow Matt Platt? Follow yourself? Like, well, number one, I believe everything I say in my videos.
Mm-hmm.
By watching it, it helps me remember, man, keep focused, Matt. You're doing the right shit. Keep doing it. I watch myself. It also helps me go, oh man, that was fire. I like that. Because there's stuff I say sometimes, it comes off the cuff and you're like, oh, I had to do that my damn self. And so I'll make a note that, hey, at 1:15, this happened. It ended at 2:28, and I make a note of it. And then when I sit down a couple times a week, I submit my videos to be chopped up and be branded. And I have all these notes done. I put it in there. Because one thing I found is that people don't have the ear for what I'm listening, like for what I do. And I've tried to have part-timers and employees and VAs do it. They don't understand the inflection points of when the power of that part of the video. So I do it myself.
Yeah, I've found that, because I have tons of Bulletproof Mindset videos and Gabe videos. And, if I try to send somebody else through it, I always feel like I was there. So I know there was something said that was good and they don't see it. And it's just like, so I'm going to have to start doing that myself. I started watching all my stuff back and making little clips, testimonials throughout that stuff, good moments with Joseph. So I'm kind of cataloging everything so I can start releasing more content. Because, when it comes to, making posts on Facebook, I'm not really all that great at it, but I can just hop on video. And part of the reason I got good at video was because I don't like making posts. It's easier just to get on and start talking. And even if I don't know what I'm going to say, I can freestyle. I'm good. So that's why I really gravitated towards video. I'll try to write out a post, and by the time I'm done writing it, I got all these reasons why I don't want to post it. And then I'm just like, screw it. And then nothing ever comes out. So, all right, cool, man. Well, I definitely appreciate your insight. Tell them again where they can find your webinar when you talked about the coronavirus for restaurants.
Yeah, so if you go to facebook.com/the real Matt Platt, and the reason it's the real Matt Platt is facebook.com/Matt Platt goes to my personal friend page. If you go and you look up Matt Platt on Facebook, you'll see a picture that has what looks like an orange fist bump. It's actually an MP. That's my business page. You go on there, you scroll down probably 2 or 3 posts. It was last night at 5:00. You'll see it on there. It's 50 minutes long. You can watch it. It was 4 restaurant owners and myself, and they dropped some amazing tips and practical advice for navigating these weird times.
Yeah, and sometimes, guys, you'll see me wearing Matt stuff, and I got that hoodie like he has on, and I got that T-shirt, and I must say it's freaking quality. Like I've watched that shirt. Seriously, man, it's quality because I've watched that shirt plenty of times, and I watched that, especially the hoodie, and the hoodie's like fresh, brand new every time I put it on. So I'll work out in it or I'll chill in it. Like it's just so. Yeah, so you got a whole bunch of stuff. Don't you have a place where people can buy your gear too?
Yeah, mattplappmerch.com.
That's what's up, man. Well, again, I'm sorry we couldn't get together out there in San Diego, but we'll definitely have to do something up again. We were gonna hang out. You had 4 mansions set up?
Yeah, we have 3. We had 2 mansions and a third house, and we had 24 people. 4 from Europe, 20 from here. It was going to be a great event, but it was literally hitting when this is going to hit the worst. So it's like, we'll stay home.
Yeah, stuff happens, man. But once again, I appreciate your friendship, man. Guys, I'll definitely have him back. More than likely, I'm gonna take a break from streaming live, and I'm gonna find our replay and run it, and then see if I can get another few people on here before I head to the house.
Cool. See you, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Peace, man. Later. Be safe.
See you, man. You too.
All right, guys. The one and only Matt Platt in the building. So let me see if I can find he's on. Cool. So yeah, Matt Platt's the man, best restaurant marketer in the world. He's teaching people all over the world how to market for restaurants. So any of you guys that may know that I've said I market restaurants, I did a few before I got with Matt, but issues that I ran into was helping me to track on what we were doing, because when people come in and spend money, it's hard to track, and to get the restaurant to track it was difficult. So what Matt did, he ran into the same problem, but he didn't just stop. He found a way to overcome that by setting up a system that includes Facebook Messenger, and we call it the ROI engine. So I run the ROI engine for the restaurant franchise I have here, in addition to the other restaurants that we work with as well. But Matt's the originator of that program, and no matter what happens, I'll always give him props for that. Really quick, what I'd like to do is I'm going to see if I can't find Matt's interview that we did, and I'm going to run it. Now, last time I was running Chris's interview, and I was going to cut it off anytime someone hits me up and says they want to hop on. Because I've been hitting up specific people that I wanted to bring on here, but something happened and the stream ended, which was weird. So hopefully it doesn't end this time, even though we got this thing going. Technically, still testing new software to see what's happening, what makes it cut off, what makes it not cut off. And even if this was a real interview, right now, all I do is, get back on the computer and start it back up. Some people are worried about being perfect. I had that problem before, and it could easily resurface. You always have to remind yourself that you don't have to be perfect. So don't worry about stuff like that. Let's see, media source. Let me see if I can find Matt real quick. 1 second. And then I'm going to go back to work, because I'm working on what I can do to help business owners. One of the things I know I can do is help them with video. So I want to say Matt was Bulletproof Mindset number 31. Yep. We had over 100 episodes of Bulletproof Mindset. And I try to do my best to remember who was who on which one. So with that being said, I'm going to make sure I pull up the chat on my end here.
Now, is this on your personal page or business page?
On my personal page. I'm going to start doing the business one, but when I've done the business one, we haven't really got too many people that have showed up. More people tend to show up when I do it here on the actual personal page. So if you guys want to know how I'm setting all this stuff up, it's actually fairly easy. All you gotta do is comment
the actual personal page.
There we go. And I will show you guys how to do it, right? All right, you got the chat up? I have a course, probably sell it for super cheap.
What?
Really all right, I see that you're in. Benefit in this.
I'm in.
Yep. Really easy. I learned.
Good morning, Matt. What's going on, my man?
Time back and.
Morning, Gerard. What's going on?
Interview's going, so let me shush. Another great day. Another day at the office. You're at your beautiful office at home. For those who don't know, Matt Platt is definitely one of the people I consider to be one of the most best marketers in the world, especially when it comes to the restaurant niche. Matt has created over 300-400 videos this year.
A lot. I think it's there's a lot of them that are all over the place. Yeah, a couple hundred. Probably not this year. The last 12 months.
In the last 12 months.
Yeah.
So between Facebook Lives, and you're putting them on YouTube, you're putting them on Facebook. And what's the name of your company? Tell people a little bit about your company and how you got started.
So the company, first I got to say I'm the first person on Gerard's Bulletproof to have Bulletproof coffee with the Bulletproof coffee grounds with their oil, their brain octane and butter. So I am bulletproof on Bulletproof. But my company is Driven Media Solutions, agency I've had for 10 years. Actually, the division that I'm growing, that I'm changing a little and doing some different stuff in the restaurant business is called ROI Experts. But I've been in the business 10 years. I've been in marketing 20 years. And all the people that came early, I started doing email marketing and what we know is social media marketing now back in 2002. for a family boat and RV dealership. So
Damn.
the last 16 years, it's come a long way from Nokia phones with the antenna pulled out that you were scared to get minutes used to now we got iPhones that we live on.
That's crazy. And you said you've been doing it for damn near 20 years, right?
Yeah, I graduated college in '98, and right out of college, got into marketing, got into radio, went to TV, and then radio advertising sales. And it's kind of funny because my background in radio is what really laid the groundwork for today. Because I see what the businesses went through. Like I'll never forget, about 2 years into my business and selling radio advertising, a guy that I was friends with pulled me aside and said, "Hey, I want to let you know that the last couple of years, I've kind of looked down on what you did, the path you took," because he went from college to the marketing director of a nonprofit. And to him, that was, the way to go, that you're a marketing director and you got a title.
Yeah.
And I went to selling advertising. And I guess I was looked at as a used car salesman in his world. And about 2 years into it, number one, he saw my pay stub on my floorboard of my car one day. And that month was more than he made the entire prior year. So I think that made him realize that maybe Matt's on to something. But he's like, he said, you're getting to experience something that I couldn't get with 10 master's degrees. And he said, because he back at that time was going back to get his master's in marketing. He's like, everything I'm doing, I'm stuck in this nonprofit in this office, and I'm doing all this thing with no budget. And I'm trying to, figure out what we learned in books and what we're doing marketing wise that works. Like, you're on the streets talking to 50 businesses a week. I mean, at that time, my goal was 25. I had to contact 25 business owners a day back then to get 2 appointments. And I would typically be in front of 40 to 50 people every couple of weeks and on the phone with hundreds a week. But his comment was, you're getting to talk to these restaurant and car dealerships and all these different businesses that, they'll tell you how their direct mail is going, their radio, their TV, their billboards. Back then there was no social media really, or email marketing. I did it for myself, but businesses didn't really use it. But it really laid the foundation because it allowed me to understand where business owners come from. And then at the same time, my dad and my brother and myself opened up a boat and RV dealership in September of '99. So I was able to experience both sides, selling advertising and then buying it for our business. And then that evolved into a consulting agency.
Wow. And you said, so he sees this check on the floor, and now he's like, what the hell's going on? Because I'm over here doing this, and this isn't working.
It was a funny story. I'll never forget it because I didn't tell anybody what I made, and I still don't. And I'll go around saying, hey, I make this much, or I don't. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not how much you make, it's how much you spend and save.
Exactly.
And as my accountant and friends will tell you, I'm not very good at saving, and I'm very good at spending. But I have fun. And I'll never forget it. We're on the way to play basketball at a place called Silver Lake in Erlanger, a little park. And my pay stub, I guess, was on the ground, on the floor of my car. And I had made like 25 grand that month. And I was 24, 25 around there.
What year is this? What year is this?
I don't know, 99. That would have been, that would have been 2000. Because I my first 9 months in the business, in the radio business, I just grinded. I only made 21 grand the first year, 9 months. I mean, I grinded. I almost quit a couple of times, but I kept saying, I had 1 month where I made $800. I had 1 month where I made $3 grand, 1 month where I made $1 grand. And when I made that 3, I went, oh, I can make $3,000 in a month.
Yeah.
And then the next month I made $1 grand. I'm like, oh, what did I do that made 3? And then I kept going up. Well, the 1 month, I think my biggest check was around 25, 30 grand 1 month.
Gracious.
And I consistently had those after a couple of years because I had built up a great base. I was doing a lot of things right. I had a lot of great mentors, my father and my managers back then and some friends I worked with. But I never forget it because he picks it up on the floorboard and he's like, what is this? And I'm like, I don't know. What are you looking at? And he's in my car. I had a Mazda 626 and he's looking at the thing. And I'm like, I guess that's my pay stub. And he's like, from when? Last year? He's like, from when? Last year? I was like, no, it's last month. And he's like, what do you mean that's last month? And I'm like, yeah, it's what I made last month. And at that point, he had a whole new respect for me because I think he realized that I made, because he said, Matt, you made last month what I made last year. And I went, oh.
Gosh.
Okay. I also spent it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, when you got it like that and then you're young, I mean, like you said, you had great mentors, which is extremely important to have great mentors along the way because we can get to wherever we're trying to go. But if we don't have, I think the only shortcut is to have a mentor, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I mean, and even then, it's still not a shortcut, but definitely get you there and, on the straight and narrow path. So you've done that. Now you've started your own agency, and you've had this agency, you said, for the past 10 years, right?
Yep, 10 years.
All right. So
The
go ahead.
something you said there about mentors. Last week I was at Traffic and Conversions in San Diego, and Damon John was the keynote speaker on Monday of the event.
Damon.
And that was his biggest piece of advice. He said, he's like, I've been a millionaire for 20 years. I think it was some number like that. And he said,
long time.
There's things I find out along the way that I wish I would have known. He's like, honestly, the number one thing I've ever done was get guidance from mentors. And he's like, and if you're in the crowd, find somebody that's a lot smarter than you, that's way ahead of where you're at, where you want to go, that knows how to get there, and pay them to be their friend. He's like, I got a lot of great friends right now that weren't friends before I met them. I paid them. Then we became, next thing you know, I'm on their level. He said, so that was one of my big takeaways from him was like, you got to find mentors. That was one thing. I had a couple early on in my career. And then when I started my agency 10 years ago, the first 8 years, it was me in a room with a computer. I didn't do enough to really take my business acumen to the next level, my knowledge. I strictly was like stuck working in my business. And that's what the last 2 years has really been about for me, is how to get out of my business and work on it. And that's what guys like Billy Jean have helped me understand how to do that.
Billy's the man. And he's one of my top mentors, just seeing how he goes about handling his business, how he's taken it from where it is to where it's gone. And like you said, I mean, if I wouldn't have paid money to learn what I needed to learn, then we wouldn't be friends. We wouldn't have met, and I wouldn't have so many cool friends that are in the School of Genius. So I'm extremely grateful and appreciative for Billy setting up what he set up and allowing us to meet. It's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Pretty awesome. So last week, right, when you posted a Facebook Live, and when the Facebook Live was talking about taking care of yourself, and I know you remember at the conference we said something before we hopped on live, where remember Jim Bunch had called me out because I was sitting there with a back brace on and I was asking questions, which I love asking questions, and he was like, look, man, where are you really at right now? You're in rest and recovery. And part of the reason I'm there is because sometimes when you're growing a business as an entrepreneur or doing anything, you always put your health on the back burner. And I know I've done that, and I've been getting better over the years. But when you had that Facebook Live the other day, it really hit home. And we already had talked about you coming on, and I felt like that was an awesome topic, and you agreed. So let's talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I kept this shirt on, because you're talking about fitness. This morning, I have a regimen that we all get out of get out of what we want to do. We get too busy sometimes. In the past 2 months, I've really been focusing on how I start my day.
Yeah. And
a couple of the staples that I pretty much have gotten used to the past 2 months of starting my day are Bulletproof coffee, because I'm not a big coffee person, but it allows me, it's got some things in it that kind of get my brain going a different way. And it also, when I drink it, it puts me it's my habit. If I do this, I do this, I do this. And I'll read a book, but also the big thing is exercise. And I've been in the fitness world for in December of 2010 is when it kind of started for me. I was an athlete in high school and college. The first couple of years after college, I still was an athlete. And then it got to a point where I'll never forget that I would be on my sales calls. Arby's was a client of mine, and I had free Arby's. I had free Arby's for about, in December, constantly Mountain Dew, curly fried beef and cheddar. And that catches up with you.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll never forget, I was 32. It was December of 2010. I was jogging up the steps in my house, and I was like, whoa, my chest bounced. What's going on there? Those are supposed to be muscles. And I called a guy that I knew that owned a gym and said, man, I've got man boobs. I need your help. And he said, and I'm like, seriously? And so from that point, he was like, you got to come check out this thing we've got called CrossFit at our gym. And I had never knew what it was. And I went to his gym, and they had a CrossFit program, and I did it one night, told my wife that night that if I ever do it again, I'm crazy. These people are insane. And then the next week I was there again. And 3 years after that, I owned a gym. Me and 2 guys started a CrossFit gym, and it's evolved. And, honestly, I even with me having a focus on fitness and nutrition, we all go through cycles. 2 years ago, I was 10 pounds lighter, had a 6-pack, was comfortable with where I was at. This past 2 years, I've I've for the past I did my 8 years in business, going to San Diego probably 4 times a year for Billy and other conferences. I've been to Denver for a couple. I've been to Florida. I've been to New York. I've been to Chicago. I've been to Phoenix. I've probably traveled more in the past 2 years than I did prior. And what I've caught myself, and this is where I've really focused and been buckling down on recently, and it's hard, I go in and out of it, is that you have a great day. You're like, man, I had a great day. I closed a couple of deals. I had some really good calls. I'm going to reward myself. And you eat something stupid.
Yeah. And
then you have a bad day and you're like, oh my God, today sucked. I'm getting a bacon double cheeseburger, a French fry, and a Coke. And so it's on both spectrums. And so I've been trying to get myself back in that frame of mind. The one thing I have been consistent with, which has helped me not go where I was 7 years ago, back or 8 years ago in 2010, was, I don't think I've maybe 5 to 6 days a week I've exercised since 2010. This past week when I went to San Diego, it was like the first time I really did hardcore. I was there 5 days. I ran twice. I would have normally been 4 times. But what really struck a chord and where that video came from and why I said that the other day was, at Trafficking Conversions, Dave Asprey, the founder of Bulletproof Coffee, was there. And he talked about the fact that too many times, and even Damon John talked about this, too many times we schedule all this stuff for work, and we get in the grind and we work on business. We don't schedule how we're going to eat, what we're going to eat. We don't schedule our exercise. We also don't schedule family time for mental well-being. But the one thing that I've got a guy that I'm friends with on Facebook. His name's Jamie. I always pronounce his last name wrong. I've known him through the CrossFit world, Caparicio, but he has a company that does oh crap, my mind just went blank, but it's a nutrition. But he always says, eat like you care about yourself. I think a lot of times we don't, including me. And I'm healthier than 90% of my friends, and I'm ashamed how I eat sometimes. I'm just constantly trying to get better. But what really drove it home, I notice I feel better. I feel better when I get up and run in the morning. One of my goals, I started Sunday, 1 mile sprint every day. Now, will I get 7 days a week for next 52 weeks? I don't know. I've done it the last 4 days now. And I didn't want to. Even the second day I woke up and I'm like, oh, I'm tired. I don't want to do this. But got up and did it. And it's amazing.
1 mile sprint? So sprint
1 mile sprint. 1 mile sprint, yeah. And now it'll get better. I used to be able to do a mile sprint 2 years ago in 6 minutes. Now I'm like today on a treadmill, I did it in 7:15. And I still was kind of dogging it the first half mile based on that because the treadmills are a lot easier for me. But it's not only that it's, maybe your sprint is 10 minutes, maybe it's 15, maybe it's 20, maybe it's walking a mile is tough, but you got to start somewhere. Because I remember when I started CrossFit in 2010, my wife was running 5Ks at the time, and I went running with her. I couldn't run a quarter mile.
Wow. And
I was a defensive back in college. I wasn't great, but I played, and I played high school sports. I was fast. I had, could run, I could jump, I could never dunk, but I could hang on the basketball rim. And here I was, 32 years old. I couldn't run a quarter mile, and I couldn't jump a 10-inch box at CrossFit.
Damn.
Because I had just destroyed myself in less than 6 or 8 years. And so that's what really got me thinking about it. So, even when I say sprint a mile, I told a friend, I've got a couple friends that are following me with this. It's, get up and do it every day. Get out in the environment, breathe air, breathe fresh air versus air conditioned and versus heat. Even cold. It was 31 degrees yesterday when I ran. It wasn't too enjoyable, but it makes you run faster. But I've been trying to find ways to do things more often. But kind of to go back with that video, where that video came from was I was scrolling through Facebook, and there was a picture from a friend of mine from, I think it was 5 or 6 years earlier. Him and I working out, and he had hit some big goal, and I had shared it on Facebook. And I texted him that picture because the past 2 years he's gone the opposite way. He's gained probably 30, 40, 50 pounds. Amazing dude, but he's busy. We all are. And he's ignored his health and his exercise. And about a month ago, he started to get back into it, and then he went away from it again. And so I texted him that picture Sunday, and just the pictures, all I said. And just had that's no words, I think. And he texted back, man, I love you, but with travel, with this, all these reasons.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to tell people, you know what? Yeah, I'm not the perfect role model, but I can tell you what, I some weeks work 80 to 100 hours a week, and I always find time to exercise, to run, to work out. I mean, you can take 10 minutes right now and do a quick workout with push-ups, squats, and sit-ups that'll blow you up in 10 minutes. That I can promise you, doing that versus not is a whole other thing. And so I did that. And it was kind of funny because about 30 minutes, so I texted him out, he said that, I did that video. 10 minutes later, I had a text from him with a video. And I'm like, oh, man, dude's pissed at me. Because I didn't mention him, but I knew he knew that it motivated it, that video was from him. Yeah. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to watch this video. And it was him. He was apparently out of his kid's basketball game somewhere out of town. And he was going to sit there for an hour and eat lunch. Instead, he got up, went outside, and found the hills and started hiking for an hour. That's pretty. And cool. So that was it was pretty cool. I mean, when I saw the video, it choked me up a little because I'm like, wow, this was somebody that took action, and something that if I can motivate somebody to do that, that's pretty cool. And that's in the fitness world. And this is extreme, but it's the truth. When somebody quits our gym at the Tracks, his name was called the Tracks Fitness Lab. My partner and I talk about this all the time. We don't take it often serious enough, but when somebody quits our gym, we just contributed to them dying earlier.
Damn. That's strong to take on.
It's harsh.
Yeah.
But it's the truth because I've seen people. We had a guy that came by our gym a month ago for a fundraiser who was a member 6 months ago. He dropped out, every excuse in the world, like a lot of people. I bet the dude was 50 or 60 pounds heavier than he was when I saw him. He looked terrible. And I felt like crap because I'm like, man, if we could have kept him here, that wouldn't have happened. But you at some point also you can't, like the old saying, you can take a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink it.
Yeah.
And that's what happens a lot of times. And that's the tough part that I tell our trainers, like, you know what? We've got to find ways that if somebody is coming here and doing some of the things and they get off the horse, how do we get them back in here? Because when you look at, like, what are you, probably 30 years old, Gerard?
Thank you. 34.
34.
Yeah.
You're 34 years old.
Yeah.
If you gain 5 pounds, you gain 1 pound a month. You gain 10 to 12 pounds a year the next 10 years. That's heart issues. That's diabetes. That's knee issues. It's hip. It's back. We've got a lady that comes to our gym named Melody, who I think is in her. I don't want to say too old. I know she's around 60. Mm-hmm. The lady can do strict pull-ups. I mean, she's ripped. She's in shape, and because she takes care of herself. And that's one thing I always tell people. I don't want to be that 70-year-old that falls and can't get up. That goes to get up out of their chair and can't walk. And that's what happens a lot of times. But at the same time, when you're not even looking down the road, you look right now. Yeah. The healthier you are, a couple of things I'll tell you that I see all the time. Mm-hmm. The healthier you are, the more focused you're able to be.
That's true.
With regards to work. And it also is the perception by people that you're in front of. I've heard this from a lot of people that are professional speakers, that there's research that if you get up on stage in front of 1,000 people, the exact same speech, and the person giving it is 5'10" and 175 and slender, and the other person giving it's 5'10" and 300 pounds, it's going to be perceived completely different.
Yeah.
It's kind of like me. I'm walking down the street in Cincinnati and I see a white dude with a face tattoo and a shaved head. He might be a preacher, but I'm assuming he's going to rob me.
And it's real.
And I cross the street.
Perception's everything.
And that's where fitness kind of comes in. That people look at you, and it's a shame because we all have a habit of doing it. Like I'll look at somebody that I see is in bad shape. You don't know what they're doing to try and fix it. I mean, we've got people in our gym right now that I know aren't where they want to be, but they're in their everyday grinding. And I've talked to a lot of them. I've heard the comments from them that they loved it when they get up and work out. Like we have classes at 5:30 in the morning in our gym. Some people are like, wow, I can't get up that early. And I'm like, you know what? You get up at 5:30 and go work out there 5:30 to 6:30. Not only are you around great people who have very good goals and with regards to fitness and their mindset, but it also sets your whole day up. Your brain is now working differently than it would be if you slept till 8 o'clock and got up and had Cocoa Pebbles and chocolate milk.
I agree. I mean, because I go to the UFC gym, and if anything, my schedule has been a little rocky. I typically do jiu-jitsu 2 times a week, and I've been doing a core class twice a week. But they open up at 6, so I'm getting back into the habit of getting in there at 6, at least on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and eventually I want to actually expand it to being there every day of the week. really about making sure I go to bed on time so I can get up on time. And of course, not making the excuse because, like you said, it only takes 10 minutes. Like I'm in the office and when I'm here, I can stand in this one position for hours. And then if I start feeling stiff, I'll just shake it off and be like, F it, let's keep going. But that's not really the thing to do. You got to take a step back, take time for yourself, stretch. Sometimes I'll go take a walk around the complex, but it's, just putting yourself first, man. And I guess with the hustle and bustle, and there's not enough guys talking about what you're talking about. They're always like hustle, grind, don't go to sleep. I think that's horseshit. I've done that. I've done that, and of course, it helps me get to where I am in life. But at the same time, eventually you hit a wall. And like with me having injuries and still trying to get healthier, my body doesn't hold up the same way it did 10 years ago. And that realization alone kind of sucks. Kind of like when you said you were 32 and you had the man boobs, and it's like, damn, you can't do it the same. You have to be smarter.
Well, it's, I've been in that place before. It's funny. There's a joke. Some of my friends, I always wonder if I ever sleep because they've seen where I'll pull, 6 a.m. to 2 a.m., 5, 6, 7 days a week for a month when I'm in a certain mode. Mm-hmm. And I've been trying to train myself differently because I used to try and do everything. I mean, I was a terrible delegator, terrible at having people do stuff for me. Now I've gotten to a point where that's not where I'm at. I'm trying to, okay, how do I get, like today I put 2 things on my list to get off my plate today. How do I get this off my plate permanently so that in a month I have less? But
that's a whole mindset in itself.
Yeah. You talked about getting up and moving around. It's kind of funny. I get in trouble. I'll probably get yelled at here in about 5 minutes when we get off here, whenever. She's out there. My wife's in the kitchen right now. Yeah. I have a habit of using 3 or 4 places in the house because I work from home 2 days a week, and I've got an office I'll go to a couple days a week, and I'll work at the gym. And like today, I spent 30 minutes at the bar in our kitchen with, I got notes everywhere on it. And then there'll be days where I'll get done with the kitchen, I'll go out on the back deck, and then I'll come back in and I'll be on the sofa, and then I'll come in here. I'll work from 4 or 5 places some days in our house, and piles of paper and notes everywhere. And I get yelled at for that. But I'll tell you what it helps me with and why I do it is you're sitting in this chair like this.
Yeah.
It changes you. I don't know if you saw, I shared a video yesterday that my trainers did at the gym. And it was literally one. Did you see that one?
No, I have to check it out when we get out of here.
Look it up. It's funny. It's really well shot. I loved how they framed it with our logo, but they literally took a desk from inside the gym, put it outside the gym, and they showed the one guy, Dylan, working away with his bent over, arched over, how we all do, sitting there with his shirt off, and then he starts working out at the desk, and Lindsay's talking about things you can do at the desk to change the day. And how to change your day, how to get your posture up, get your chest, stand up, do some jumping jacks, do some lunges. I mean, you can do so many things that when you're, instead of just sitting in a chair all day. Casey and I had a meeting yesterday with Casey, my business partner at the gym, and I got there. It was like 55 degrees. It was sunny, and I had like 30 minutes to kill to eat some food. So I had taken a Chipotle burrito with me, and I try and get those as healthy as possible. It's usually one of the cleaner things I can get on the go. Yeah. And I don't load it with sour cream and a bunch of stuff. It's just usually the white rice and chicken or steak, and that's it, and guac. And I sat there in the sun. I didn't go in the place and sit down. I literally took a chair and sat outside in the sun. It's like, man, you know what? This is great to have the sun on me. And then him and I met in the back of his pickup truck. We had an hour meeting together. I said, let's meet outside the back of your truck. We'll do truck talk. And so we had our meeting outside in the sun, different environment, not inside in the sun, and also not sitting at a desk like you normally are.
Yeah. And that's huge too, because a lot of times we don't realize how much we're not outside, especially doing the work that we do. We could easily be behind a computer inside a building all day. And the only time we actually go outside is to hop in the car to go somewhere. So to be outside and take advantage of that weather, like in Virginia Beach, it's been getting a little cold lately, and then some days it's short weather. So as soon as it's short weather, especially before it picks up down at the beach, I'm 10 minutes from not even 10 minutes from the beach. I'll go down there and bring my computer, bring my hotspot, go down there and read a book.
You said you're 10 minutes from the beach?
Less than 10 minutes from the beach. I live probably 15, 20 minutes from the beach, but my office is less than 10 minutes. Like I could be on sand in less than 10 minutes.
I might unfriend you on Facebook just for that.
Why? I love the beach.
Jealous. I mean, I'm jealous. That's where you get your mind right, man. Is being able to put your feet in the sand, put your feet in the dirt, feel nature, and do it a little different. That's why I always crack up. So many corporations, like in Cincinnati where I'm at, we've got a handful of major companies, GE and Procter and Gamble, and there's this hardcore thing that you've got to come to work every day. You've got to work here. And I always crack up. So I'm like, you know what? I look at it. A friend of mine I know from our gym, their company was really hard. It was really hardcore, but you got to be there this many days. There's no work from home. There's no nothing like that. When her job requires her to be nowhere but on a computer. I mean, literally, the office environment does nothing. And I look at that. I'm like, you know what?
That's crazy.
You eliminate by having people not work in the office. You eliminate 45 minutes of a commute before and after for them. So you just improve their life by an hour and a half of not sitting in a car, of being able to be productive. You also put them in an environment where, like me, I'm a hell of a lot more productive when I'm at my kitchen bar than I am at this desk.
Yeah.
And it makes my wife mad. It drives her crazy because she comes out, she just cleaned the kitchen up, and sure enough, there's Matt with literally, like if you saw it right now, she just left us talk for a while, so I'm going to get shape. I'm not getting going today. But I get more done at that kitchen counter than I would ever get done in a cube. And I also get more done because, I'm able to get up. I mean, if you're in an office and you get up and walk around, there's really not a whole lot to do. I'm at my house. I get up, I can go in the garage and get on the treadmill for 20 minutes. I can go run around the neighborhood. I can make myself a quick snack. I can sit down and watch TV for 10 minutes. I'm more productive when I work in like 2-hour blocks and get stuff done.
That's huge. Versus
10-hour days. And it all comes down to, physical fitness and like we talk about nutrition. All of it also comes down. There's two things that people don't take into account. One of them I do really well, and one okay. Number one is environment and mindset. And Jim Bunch talked about this, was that we're all in this hurry to get in and into the next box, that we wake up. And if you guys are watching this, haven't heard of Jim Bunch, look him up. Dude's legit.
He's legit as hell. He's legit as hell.
And he talked about in the conference in California we were at together that you wake up in a box, your bedroom. Damn. You leave your bedroom to go to a car, to your box, to drive to an office, a box. And then he joked, and I don't think he even meant to say this. And he goes, then you leave and go to a gym, a box, which they call CrossFit gyms boxes.
Yeah.
And too many times that's what we do. And I'm like, you know what? We got to change that. I mean, like me, one of my favorite places, it's too cold here right now to do this, but in about 4 to 5 weeks in Kentucky, it'll be 60 degrees pretty consistently through October. I will work more on my back deck or by my pool or in my hammock on a given day when I'm at the house anywhere else. I mean, there's nothing better than sitting on the back porch, hearing the birds chirp, the wind chimes knock, the leaves, and have a nice breeze versus sitting in an office like this. But the problem is too many corporations are run by, too many companies, are the people running the companies are all about the grind and hustle, and you got to work 500 hours a week, and you got to do this. That's how they manage people. You know what? Like Ashley, who works for me, I've got, I guess, technically 8 people that work either virtually or part-time or full-time for me. And like Ashley is one that's worked with me for 7 years. We've met. I mean, I bet if we added it up in 7 years, we've probably met less than 100 hours in person.
It was Ashley the one that came to the Genius Workshop?
Yeah, she came back in the fall. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So she came back then, and she, I don't, for the most, I have no clue where she's at right now. I don't know if she's working at the gym, eating breakfast with her friend. Doesn't really matter to me. She's got tasks to get done. She works usually between 35 to 40 hours a week. And so I understand what she's trying to do.
Yeah.
Or I understand what she's doing for the company. I'd rather her work by a pool. I'd rather, like I've had days, like I had a couple times last summer where I'd openly invite people on my team. Hey, I'm going to be at the pool today working at my house. Come on over. I'll grill out. We'll grill out ribs and chicken for lunch. We'll work, just hang out by the pool. I mean, I'm going to get more done when my mind's in the right place. And that's one thing a lot of people neglect when you look at, we talk about physical fitness and nutrition. Your mind's a big element too.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you the one that's even bigger that I tend to screw up more often than not. And a friend of mine, I don't know if you know Seema or not. She's in the group.
Yeah.
I met her a couple months ago, and then since then I've seen her a couple times at different conferences. But she asked the other night about sleep, and it's ironic because she asked this, is that she asked how what do people do to sleep better? And I usually sleep pretty good. Yeah. And I'll sleep great if I can get to bed by 11 o'clock. I'll usually wake up at 6 or 6:30, and I'm in good shape.
Yeah.
I don't set an alarm clock. I usually wake up from the kids making noise with the dogs barking or my wife slamming the door, because if I was up moving around and made her mad, she'll usually wake me up with a door slam occasionally. But on
that was nothing.
Sunday and Monday night, because of schedule, I didn't eat dinner till like 10 o'clock. And I had told Steve this when she asked about things to sleep better. I said one of the biggest things you can do to sleep better is eat a few hours before you go to bed. So if you're going to bed at 11 o'clock, you should eat at probably 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And let your body digest it. Do that. You get into a state of sleeping. There's other reasons as well, but sure enough, it's funny. She said this, I think it was on Sunday, and I commented, and I'm giving my advice. And then here I am Sunday night and Monday night. I get stuck doing different things. I literally didn't eat till I think 10 o'clock Monday night.
That's
went to bed at 11. I slept terrible. I woke up at 2 a.m., didn't know what was going on, thought I was ready to get up and go to work, and looked at my phone like, oh my God, it's 2 a.m. and couldn't go back to sleep. And I never wake up and get on my phone in the middle of the night. And I was up on my phone for a half hour, moving around everywhere.
Getting the wife upset.
Slept terrible for 2 nights in a row. And I can honestly tell you why. I can tell you why. It's because I ate at 10 o'clock at night.
That's pretty late, man. Like even like for me, I try to be in bed by 10. Usually 9:30 is the perfect times, especially because I get up really early. And I try to eat. 8 o'clock is still kind of late for me, but by the time we get back from the gym, we get back from the gym about 7:30, and then just got to eat and roll, man. But yeah, 10 o'clock is late as hell. But
yeah, one of my things I'm trying to get to is I'm trying to compartmentalize my day into 3 2-hour blocks where I have a 2 hour, well, I guess 4, 2 hours in the morning for me, for Matt, 7 to 9. That's all I do is read. I don't typically eat breakfast. I usually eat lunch and then a snack and a dinner. I try and keep my body in what they call, I don't do this all the time, but in an extended fast from dinner the night before to noon the next day.
Yeah.
But I'll get up like 7 to 9. I try and be Matt time where I'll read and work out and do some mobilization and do some stuff, kind of plan my day. And then I'm trying to get to where I do 3 2-hour blocks of work where I work on a project for 2 hours, do something else for 2 hours, do something else for 2 hours. And my goal is to try and one of my big goals is to try and get that to where I'm done earlier in the day. So I go to the gym like 3 or 4. And like one of the things I'm working on come April is to go live every day, Monday through Friday, twice a day, like 4 or 5 or 5 and 6 or something.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get all that done because what happens now is I typically end up working until 5 or 6 o'clock and then go to the gym 6 to 7 to 8. And that pushes the night on. I want to try the days I've noticed where I've had a better mindset and felt better the next day and got more productive is when I get that all done by 7 o'clock.
Yeah, you get.
And I'm at home with the family. I'm at home with the family 7 and 8 and 9, and like it's wild because I had one night a couple of weeks ago where I had eaten dinner by like 7:30, and I had tossed football with my son, and next thing I know I'm at the house and it's like 8 o'clock, and I'm like, well, I got like 3 hours that I can watch TV, talk to my wife, hug my kids.
Because it easily gets wrapped up, like you said, when you're running like that. I mean, and like you said, the 2-hour block thing is pretty cool. I'm reading the 4-hour work week. I'm listening to it and reading it at the same time, and he was saying the same thing because I'll try to push on, especially in the summer. My son typically stays home with me Monday through Friday, and then he's back home on Sunday. I just don't see him on Saturdays. He goes to see his mom. But when the summer comes and he might spend a few more days at his mom's house, I'll stay in this office and work 12, 13 hours straight and just go on and on and on. And like you said, I realize that I'm more productive when I have shorter periods, but it's really a mindset of switching over and understanding that that's better for us. Because like you said, these guys are pushing us to go to work 9 to 5 or whatever the schedule is. And that's all we know. We feel like we need 8 hours plus to get everything done when it's not really the case.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. And I think I saw it in the 40-hour work week book. But think about it. Where did that come from? 9 to 5. I mean, why is it not noon to 6? Why is it not, 6 to 6 p.m. to 4 a.m.? Wondering where all that comes from. Because I mean, there's really, for me, I'll get more done before 8 a.m., before 9 or 10 a.m. and after 6 or 7 p.m. I'd rather, and that's what as the weather gets warmer, I'd rather go do stuff during the daytime than I would work.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, we're all programmed that it's like me. Even I used to feel guilty when I would sleep till 7 o'clock and then mosey around the house and do stuff. And then like 10 o'clock, I start working. I would feel like my God, I'm a loser. I need to be doing what everybody else is doing. It's like, you don't, do you and figure out what makes you more productive. I told somebody this the other day. I don't know what happened or what got me in this mode, but flying back from traffic and conversions on Friday, flew back Friday morning. We left San Diego at like 8 o'clock San Diego time and got to Cincinnati at 6 p.m. The second leg of the flight was like 4 hours from San Francisco to Cincinnati. And I've never been in a better zone ever. I had no Wi-Fi, so I had no phone.
That's good.
And I had some great notes, and I had some caffeine in me probably. And I literally for 3 hours was buried in notes and took the best notes I've taken in probably 10 years and structured my book, 4 of my team members, an idea with the gym, and then 5 parts. I mean, I literally got done with this. I'm like, holy crap, how did I do all this? And it really got me thinking. It was the main reason was my phone wasn't available.
I remember you said that travel video.
Yeah. And so Facebook wasn't available. My phone wasn't available. Email wasn't available. Text wasn't available. And I was like, just thinking, wow, that was impactful that I got that much done. And how do I replicate that? How do I get myself to that zen, I guess you might say, that zone more often in my house when I'm working, because that's the problem we run into that just it crushes me. And I used to be a big multitasker, and we all like I have people like, oh my God, he does like 10 things at once. That was always like the cool thing. You can talk to you on the phone, do this. So I realized that I wasn't doing any of them justice by doing 5 things.
Exactly.
If I could sit there and do just this for 2 hours, I get so much more work and productivity and better quality of work than I do if I do this for 5, this for 2, this for 7, this for 10. But that's what we're all programmed. I mean, we're programmed to look at our email, look at our text, check our notifications.
I turned all that stuff off.
I don't know if it's out there, but I would love for somebody to show me a software that basically said, when I turn on this program, it shuts everything else off for 2 hours, and I can't touch it. Like, I don't know what the password. Yeah, if I can even find a virtual assistant that controls it. Like I call them, how did you get on Facebook? No, get off. Get back to Camtasia, record 10 more videos.
I mean, we need something like that, man, because and sometimes a misconception with me, I know I post a lot of videos, but no, honestly, I'm not online like that. It's hard for me to want to be on the phone all day because, like you said, then it trickles into what you're doing with your family. And even reverting back to what you were saying about the programming, think about what time the kids go to school every day. The kids they go to school at the same kind of times that we're starting work, and it's just when it's time to go to work, it's a seamless transition. I mean, we need education, but I see, public school system as employee training to set you up to go work, because a lot of the things that you've learned in business, things I'm learning in business, the mindset things, that motivation, taking care of yourself. We have a little bit of health and what do they call it, health and PE, but typically they just tell us to go play. I mean, all those things aren't being taught. They're just teaching you how to do these certain things and stay in these certain systems. So that way, when you're done, you can go work for somebody else and continue. And it's a seamless transition. You transition the paycheck was once a report card because it's kind of similar. You just get the paycheck a little bit more. A teacher for a boss, bus ride for a commute. It's just seamless, man.
You just gave me an idea.
What's that?
I'm going to create adult recess.
That's dope.
Where during the week, I'm going to announce, hey guys, meeting up this time, 30 minutes of basketball at XYZ Park. Don't take your lunch break. You can eat lunch in the car.
Yeah.
Drive down here. Let's shoot some hoops for 30 minutes. Wipe the sweat off with a wet wipe. Swing out Chipotle, grab a burrito, eat it on the way back to work, and there's your hour. I mean, because a lot of people, unfortunately, a lot of friends I know and a lot of people I respect aren't entrepreneurs. They aren't guys like you and I. It's scary. It's scary to take those steps. So they work in an office. They work by the rules of the man. And hey, you get here at this time, you leave at this time, and that's what you do. So they have constraints, and they can't get up and do what we do. That's one thing I love about being an entrepreneur. And that's one thing I joke about, that I'm literally unemployable. That I could never. I don't know that I could ever be hired by anybody. Just for the simple fact that I've worked for myself for the most part for the last 20 years.
That's a long ass time.
I guess taking radio out, I had 4 years where I worked in radio and the business. So I had a boss for 4 years. And then probably only in that entire time, I had 1 year where I had a short-term contract with a company that I technically had a boss, and that's when I found out that they wanted me to be a manager at this place, possibly this marketing company. I'm like, I'm unemployable, dude. There's no way I could ever be a manager here, because every manager I've seen at this place is, not to be mean, but is useless. They got up to management level because they kissed enough butt and they could close enough deals. And at the end of the day, just because you can close deals doesn't make you a good manager. I mean, I can close deals all day long.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at managing people. I'm a terrible boss, probably.
I mean, it's really true. I mean, I feel the same way. I'm unemployable. You know, the skills and the things you've learned over the past 20 years, and even for me, I'm fairly new to the marketing game. I've been in marketing probably, directly, like actually seeking it and learning it out for about coming up on 2 years. And, the skills that I've acquired in that short period of time, of course, there's more to learn. I don't need to go work for anybody else. There's always a way to make some money online. It's depending on who you're listening to, and that comes back to having good mentors like the ones that we have. I know you have quite a few. Billy, I follow Billy closely. Follow guys like you in the group closely. Dennis, you, but for the most part, they're all teaching us different skills that, like I said, we don't necessarily need to go work for anybody else. I mean, I couldn't see it. I'm looking to make my wife unemployable. That's the number one goal for me right now, is make her unemployable. So that way we can just enjoy life even that much more. We don't need a whole bunch of money, but just a little more.
What was the name of your first series of videos you did? 30 to 10K?
Oh, the first set of videos was 12 weeks to a 10K agency. So I missed the mark on it. I ended up hitting the mark on it though, but I just didn't hit it within that first 12 weeks.
Oh, I don't think you realize, but you hit the mark. You hit it from a standpoint of you did something nobody else does. I mean, I remember watching it when I first saw it. I'm like, who is this dude? What's he doing? Guy's an idiot. What's he talking about? And you see people on video, and you're like, then you start like watching the content. And I mean, a lot of respect, because when we left Billy's last event, when we had I guess like 7 of us got up on stage, and I did my live video, and I said, hey, everybody here do video. When we got done, people came back, and I've watched a lot of people, and a lot of those people have done video in Billy's group, not outside the group, not on their personal Facebook, not on their personal LinkedIn, not on their personal Facebook page, in the group, a comfort zone. I mean, you went out of your comfort zone before anybody else. I mean, to go out there and say, here's how much money I want to make, and I'm going to do it, and you're going to watch me succeed or fail financially in the next 12 weeks. I mean, whether you realize it or not, you made $100,000 in 12 weeks. Because what you built up, you built a snowball that kept going and going and going and getting bigger. And yeah, the money might not have been there in the 12 weeks, but the foundation was laid in the 12 weeks. I mean, a lot of respect for you for what you did, because you're doing stuff that nobody else was doing. I mean, not even me. And it motivated me to get my butt and get more on camera and do more stuff. But
I appreciate that, man. Hey, I mean, it was weird, man. I mean, and some days, honestly, like, I just do, especially if I hear it enough, because Billy repeats about certain things. More content, live streaming, and YouTube. So YouTube's the last thing that I haven't taken him up on as much as I should have. But some days when I actually sat back and think about it, because I don't always think about it, I'm like, damn, Gerard, you really put yourself out there. These people are looking at you like this and like that. And usually within 2 minutes, I'm just like, all right, whatever. It's time to go back to work. And I appreciate, the support that I got from everyone. I tell people all the time, I don't like any of those videos, but like you said, the fact is that I did them, and I don't sometimes give myself enough credit for that. So I appreciate you giving me credit for that. Billy's giving me credit, and a lot of people in the group, man, and it makes it easy to keep going.
I remember watching them and even being like, this guy's crazy, just seeing them. And then you start thinking about it when you look back. Like, I've made assumptions before on you, on me, on things we all do.
It's hard not to.
Why you like them or don't like them. And then when you sit back and look at it and go, wow, that took guts. The one thing that I always reflect back on, I've never gone this way, but this kind of talks about it. I remember Grant Cardone, who I saw in an interview one time. They asked him how he got started and what he got doing with regards to video, because I think he's done like 8,000 videos or something the last 10 years, some crazy number.
He's crazy.
And he said, honestly, I started just recording videos all my life, and I had businesses that went bankrupt. I had successes. I had failures. Like, I didn't know what my niche was going to be. I just started recording myself talking. And after a couple of years of it being on YouTube, you start seeing, because that's one thing that's different. This is where I think you need to figure out, this is off topic.
Yeah.
But the one difference between YouTube and Facebook is YouTube is evergreen. Facebook's not. Facebook videos have no shelf life unless you run ads to them. True. YouTube, I've got a client that's got a vacuum store I'm meeting with later today that we've got videos of his from 10 years ago that I looked at the chart of one of them the other day. And like that, it's funny. It doesn't benefit him a ton because 90%, 99% of the views are all over the world. But he's got these videos on Dyson vacuums and common repairs and different issues why they don't work good versus this brand. But these videos every month get more and more views. And you start thinking about, man, look at that from our standpoint, that you and I start doing that and we get these videos out there. Right now, there's no fire behind them. But like Grant Cardone said, he did these videos. And a couple years later, a year later, he looked back and he saw, okay, here's 500 videos. Which ones got organic? Which ones started going? There's your topic. That's what you need to be talking about. Yeah. And I'm still trying to find that personally because I've got a lot of videos on YouTube. I've not done enough with them, and I'm still trying to figure out my game plan there. But it's definitely a way to think about like what you're doing, all the stuff you've got out there in the past. You've got to look back at it, see kind of where it's at, where it's taking you, and what really holds, what takes hold.
Well, with the YouTube, I know in the very beginning I had a lot of copywritten content in there, so I can't push that. But I think I'm close to like 400 videos on YouTube, and I haven't even started putting these ones on there yet. But like you said, it makes sense because once this goes away, like I think the post that I ever got the most engagement on Facebook ever was when I got married and I posted a picture of it, and that lasted for close to a week. And then after that, it's just gone unless someone's stalking me. But if you're on Facebook, on YouTube, like you said, if someone's searching, especially if you know how to stack it up the right way with the tags and the structure. Like I got one video on YouTube for NFL jerseys, which is crazy, but I did it years ago and it's pretty much number one on YouTube if you search anything when it comes to cheap NFL jerseys. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but that was kind of like my intro into marketing. And I think I got like 30,000 views organically,
Nice.
But you're absolutely right. And one thing that you said at the conference that I haven't done yet, and I meant to ask you about, was the LinkedIn thing. Like, how are you basically taking those videos and putting them on LinkedIn? I never done one. I think that would be huge because I don't keep up with LinkedIn like I used to either, and that's a good traffic source.
Oh, I ignored LinkedIn for the last 5 or 6 years because to me, you get stuck in the habit of going. Like I don't even go to Instagram that often or Snapchat. I'm mainly a Facebook guy and gotten more to LinkedIn. And it's just tough because for a while LinkedIn was a pile of garbage from a standpoint. It was just salespeople. Like yesterday, or 2 days ago, a guy connects with me on LinkedIn who I didn't know who he was, but whatever. And the minute I accept, I get a message like about how he can do this, this, and this. And I'm like, there's no way to start a conversation. And I've realized I've been guilty of that before as well.
Yeah.
And so when it happens to you, you're like, oh man, that guy looked like an idiot. Oh, I mean, I looked like an idiot. But LinkedIn, I got off it just because it was a hot mess to me. There was no cohesion. It's gotten better. It's getting better. It's not as good as Facebook groups because Facebook groups are still a gold mine for business. But LinkedIn has gotten better. But yeah, what I do when I shoot videos, I try to do all my videos live because to me, I hate editing.
Me too.
If I don't do it live, I'll spend an hour editing a 2-minute video for the stupidest stuff. Like me biting my nose like this or saying or like. So I do them live. You know what? Go live or go home, and I'll do it live. And when I do it live, I click download, and I'll take that file. That's why a lot of my videos, if you watch, I don't acknowledge it's live. I don't acknowledge people commenting, which I know is a better practice. I should be doing more of sometimes. That's because I'm repurposing those videos, and I'm putting them on YouTube and LinkedIn. Like I'll upload them ASAP to YouTube and then ASAP to LinkedIn. And when it goes to YouTube, it zaps it over to my blog. And then I'll also post them in some private groups I'm involved with if the content makes sense.
And what's crazy is I have Zapier. I've been using Zapier for a while, and until you said something about that, I didn't even think to look that you can zap Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And then after you said something, I looked, and I was like, damn, how much work could I have been saving myself if I would have implemented some of these tools that I'm already paying for? You don't know what you don't know. Damn. Well, sure. I definitely appreciate the confidence, man. Like I said, you're out here killing it. Your videos are pretty good. You're good on camera. You're just, I don't know, naturally. And Luis had told me too, because I thought, nothing wrong with drinking. I don't really drink much, but I drink when I come out there and check with y'all. I was like, man, Matt's so cool. And I thought you had a few shots. She's like, no, Matt's just on all the time. You know how Luis is. He's on all the time. And like you said, I guess I'm looking for the right word, but it goes back to you working out, taking care of yourself, it allows you to have that energy and allows you to push forward. And even though, like you said, you're not perfect, like looking a few years back, like I keep trying to level up with my health and fitness and what I'm eating. So a few years ago, I was eating fast food. Like I don't eat fast food. I don't eat McDonald's. I don't like crap anymore. Since before the wedding, we started going a little vegetarian. Of course, like when I came out there, I decided I wanted to try out the
Hog
damn
wild,
fast track.
maybe.
Huh?
I think you could probably go hog wild and travel.
Yeah, like I mean, but how often am I really traveling? So it's do something like that. But during the week, I don't eat meat, and it's not that I can't. I just it's a decision I'm making. So it's just doing different things like that, going to the gym a lot more. Like from the accident I had and the way I had surgeries, I wasn't supposed to be doing jiu-jitsu, doing kickboxing, and doing all this other stuff. But you know, there's so many different things that you have to do to keep yourself together and move forward. And like you said, even in this business, it's a marathon. Like you said, most of your buddies are working for the man. So it's a little bit easier in respects that you don't have to think of everything. But in order to keep running this race that you and I are running, we have to keep our bodies sharp. And like I said, we need more guys like you, mentioning those things and talking about it. Because for the most part, like I said, the content that you see spinning around 9 times out of 10 is never talking about any of those things.
Yeah.
That and the stuff that Jim be talking about, which like you said, that whole thing at the box, that kind of messed me up, man. Like you're in a box all damn day. And
Yeah, oh, it's the truth. It's the truth. And you got to show me how to do your Zoom
I got you.
border.
I got you. Promise. So
Cool.
we'll wrap this up with this, Matt. When I mention gratitude, right? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
For me, being grateful for what other people, for being grateful for things, gratitude to me is like, people like Billy producing content and putting it out there that I can learn from, like this. This is what it all started with for me, not this specific one, but a flash drive.
Mm-hmm.
I've got it in my office somewhere, $4.95 flash drive 2 years ago that I bought. That's it. It's gray. It's got a gray with the blue little Billy face on it. It swings out.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in the office, but that led me to spend. I probably spent 90 to probably over $100,000 at this point on trainings and travel and consulting and mentorship. Gratitude to me is grateful that somebody put themselves out there like that, because a lot of people. I'll give you this example, and this is the complete opposite of Billy.
Mm-hmm.
About 5 years ago, I had a client of mine that we were doing these golf seminars for that I would help run. It was called Don't Winterize Your Golf Swing, and it was a way to bring golfers into their golf store in the winter, because in Kentucky, it's cold in the winter. You don't golf. And so every week we had a seminar for like 8 weeks. Mm-hmm. And they did unbelievable, from getting people in, to traffic, and even sales. Even though there was no sales asked, it was just come here for $10, you get food, and you get a great seminar. Well, this one guy gets up there, and he's a golf fitness expert, mm-hmm. and gets up on stage, and he's going through his tips. And every time somebody would ask him something specific, he would never give enough. He would give a little. But every time somebody would ask him something really specific, he'd go, "Oh, I'm glad you asked that. That's on page 85 of my book." And then he would go on. And he never answered anything. And so at the end of the seminar, he sold 0 books. And I walked up to him and I said, how many books you sell? I knew. How many books you sell? And he goes, 0. I can't believe it. I said, you want a tip? Yeah, I said, you looked like a jerk on stage with the way you presented it. Every time somebody asked you a question, because he would just give you enough.
Yeah.
He would never give you the whole thing. And I said, every time somebody asked you a question, you always referred back to, buy my book, it's on page whatever. I said, now imagine if you said, hey, Gerard, great question. Here's exactly how I would do that. Boom, 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 boom. By the way, for reference point, that's in the book somewhere, I think chapter 5. Now all of a sudden you just dropped a bunch of bombs on them. You gave them exactly what they wanted. And then you gave them, hey, by the way, there's a place for it in case you forgot that. They're going to buy the book.
Exactly.
And for me, I'm grateful. I have gratitude towards guys like Billy, guys like you, I guess myself, the people that are putting content out there that are helping people improve in their life somehow, but not just giving them a little touch. It's like, hey, here's the whole thing. Yeah. Take what you want. Most people won't do anything with it. Yeah. But take what they're giving you and do something with it.
I can appreciate that too, man, because like you said, Billy, he put a lot of stuff out there, and like I said, I'm extremely grateful for their whole team and everything they got going on. Like you said, the community alone, and at first, when you first get in, especially if you don't take advantage of it, you don't realize how powerful it is, man. But like you said, I paid Billy to be his friend basically. I mean, we had to pay to get in, but he's teaching us value. We develop a relationship, and after a while, it's like, why wouldn't I pay that money to be continue to be part of this so that I can help him? Because when we pay into that, we're helping him, giving him the ability to create more for us and help us in ways we need to be helped. And it's just an endless circle, and you just have to choose who you want to give your money to. And he's definitely one of the people. I've given him shucks. I'm probably close between traveling and going to the events. And last year and this year, I'm probably at least around 10 grand, if not closer to 15, maybe in between there. And I plan on continually putting. We're talking about something else right now. I'm actually about to pay into. So definitely appreciate that. So all right, so we got gratitude, appreciation. First thing that comes to mind.
Appreciation. Wow. First thing that comes to mind. I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is probably family and the support you get. I think we sometimes we forget what our loved ones do for us. There's a couple songs that I've got on my playlist that I listen to, and the one is called "Hold Me Down." Can't think of the name of the band, but it's called "Hold Me Down." If you look at the title, it's like somebody's holding you down. But when you're not looking at the title and you listen to the song, it's talking about why she's not holding me down. That drag me down. That's what it is. Drag me down. I'll find it for you. But like I remember the first time I texted it to my wife, I texted her a screenshot to it and I said, "Hey, this song's about you." And she looked at it and she's like, "Oh, thanks a lot," because the title is "Drag Me Down." And I'm like, "No, listen to it." And the whole song basically talks about how everybody else is trying to drag you down, but the ones that are in your life aren't.
Yeah.
That they're lifting you up and they're helping you get there. That's I appreciate like what my wife does, like what she does every day. Like I was in California last week. I appreciate that our kids were taken care of and that they were, education and their health and them getting to where they need to go and the house and the dogs. And, I mean, you come home and nothing's wrong.
Smart business decision.
Yeah.
Smart business decision from a few years. How long you been married?
I don't even know. Let's see, 19 years.
Smart.
We got married. We got married in September of August. She'll kill me. She won't watch this far. August of '99.
August of '99. So you've been making good business decisions since before then. So and that plays a part into it.
I gotta find that song for you.
And one thing that I do for my wife while you're looking for that is,
One Direction.
What is it called?
One Direction's the band. It's called "Drag Me Down." Right there on the screen.
Okay, gotcha. I'm gonna listen.
And it just, to me, it says a whole.
You guys might be able to hear me, but I was taking off doing some stuff while this interview was running. Still working on smoothing up the transitions and things like that. But essentially, man, that's all I really have for today. Working on a few projects, figuring out how I can help people. I mean, right now, in this time of zero contact and social distancing, doesn't mean that, of course, you should spend time with your family. That's extremely important, right? But for some of us that still have to take care of things and get things done, if you're not using things like Zoom or, even this whole setup like I have, which is, it's cool and it's nice and it's easy to do, but Zoom is all you really need. Zoom's a free service. Zoom costs $0, and if you want to have a bunch of people on there, it might cost you $15. So in this time, this is a good time actually to make sure that you keep putting yourself on video, that because a lot of people may not know who you are, right? Like I got a bunch of views on a lot of my videos combined, not to mention the ads that don't get even wrapped into the videos that show up on my page, but there's still more people for me to reach to get my message to. And while screen time is at an all-time high, now is the perfect time to get in front of your audience, whether it's organic or even with the ads, because Facebook ads is an auction. And essentially that means is like if I'm running an ad and you're running an ad, whoever's ad's getting the best engagement based off Facebook. I guess they call it the algorithm, whatever they have in the background. They have ways of telling their stats who's getting the best engagement. You get the cheaper clicks and you get the cheaper views. Like one of my clients now, we've been running a video of hers, and we only been doing it $1 a day. She wanted to lower the budget, but she's getting 0.001 cents per view, which is freaking ridiculous. She's getting in front of 10,000 people that are right here where she lives. So to keep stuff like that going is easy. I mean, worst case scenario right now, if you could just turn on an ad for $1 a day and letting people know who you are and making sure you're targeting your right audience, especially if it's somewhere local, man, it'll do a world of difference for you, especially when this thing blows over. Because as everything else, this too shall pass. So with all that being said, guys, in order for me to continue doing what I need to do for the rest of the day, I need to go ahead and cut this video. And again, I'm just getting myself back up to speed on running these lives, switching the screens up. And even then, again, that's not all necessary. As you can see, this green screen doesn't work all that great with yellow. I had a whole yellow shirt on over there, and I accidentally swiped myself with this marker. Plus, it wasn't really working with the green screen all that well because, I think yellow has green in it. Not sure. I'm not a color guy who understands that in and out, but it just wasn't working too well. So with all that being said, if you guys ain't got nothing, if whether you got something or not, I'm out. But leave anything in the comments, any questions, any takeaways from watching the interview with Matt, any takeaways earlier from watching the video with my boy Chris. I went live with him earlier. Live Large Coaching was in the building. Shout out to him, shout out to Matt, and just shout out to all my friends, my mentors, especially who've been, guiding me on this journey. And I honestly feel like with or without anyone, I'm going to get to where I have to go. But the only shortcuts in life are when you get with people that understand where you're going and have already been there and can help you. And my mentors and have and they're also my friends too, have helped shorten that curve for me, and just keep trending upward. Right now, like I said, just trying to figure out what's the best way I can help people. I feel like helping people get on video, and at the same time providing some type of entertainment. But you got to, it's an ongoing process, right? So, with all that being said, that's pretty cool how that shows up. Bulletproof mindset. We're gonna roll the intro one more time, and we are out. Steve Jenkins, what's up? Don't think I know that name. Let me shout out to everybody who's been on here live. So Matt Plapp was actually on the interview, and then he joined. Sean Bender, Brock Grant, Jeff Gwill, Dale Hinton, my man, Steve Jenkins. Who else? Dave Johnson, what's up? And Nicole, and my man Malcolm. He damn near watched the whole interview. So, people, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna roll out with the intro one more time. Peace.